entering Independence, Missouri, the start of the Oregon Trail, and also where Harry Truman was born. The Independence city limit, the start of the Oregon Trail. Independence, Missouri.
4 years ago, and on issue after issue, the resounding answer is absolutely not. So it'll be a moment where I think the president is not playing offense anywhere. Some people have raised the fantasy of North Carolina, but he's currently 10 points behind there. So if they want to waste money in North Carolina, I think Trump would be more than happy to see that happen.
And finally, that's where the
Trump
Kansas City Chiefs play.
Trials to drive home
the
the
Super
message
Bowl.
that we have a two-tier justice system in this country. And if they can do it to me,
sorry, I'm a 49er fan.
Trump, a former president.
I'm a 49er fan, unfortunately, but that's where the Kansas City Chiefs play, Arrowhead Stadium. We're at the Kansas City area now. But that's where the Chiefs play, unfortunately. Arrowhead Stadium.
Be in any of the 3 left lanes.
There it is. Arrowhead Stadium. Okay. This is Kansas City, Missouri. There's downtown Kansas City straight ahead. How unfortunate. Well, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're happy, I guess. I'm not. Kansas City, Missouri. We're entering Kansas pretty soon, because major city. It's Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. Here. Has 2 parts of Kansas City around here. Downtown Kansas City. Home of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Be in the left lane. In 1 mile, keep left on I-670.
How do you get in?
We are in Abilene, Kansas. Johnny 2B here at Abilene, Kansas at the Eisenhower Memorial for Eisenhower, boyhead town. And he grew up here in Abilene, Kansas. Looking at the map, the museum straight ahead that way. His house was here for his boyhood. He was the president from 1952 to 1960. And he was the old school Republican here, and we're going to go to the visitor center. We're going to go into the museum, and I think the museum's over there, I believe. And this is Abilene, Kansas. I'm going to see something here in Kansas here. Eisenhower, Abilene, Kansas. Weather died down. Eisenhower's home from 1895 to 1946, the last president to be born in the 19th century. taking some photographs.
When you go in, I'm the tour guide. You got your tickets for the boyhood home?
No, we didn't buy them yet.
You have to have the tickets in order to do the tour. And 4
Okay.
o'clock is the last.
And then Eisenhower Museum. The library's across the way. We don't have time to see the library, but 1952 to 1960 was he president of the United States. He was a general. He went to West Point. Rose to the ranks to World War I. After World War I, he became a general. He rose to the ranks really quickly.
Wrong side of the tracks. He was born on the wrong side of the tracks.
World War I. Dress blue uniform, World War I.
Fort Sam Houston.
Like during World War I, when he was a soldier during World War I, training for modern warfare. He rose to the ranks really quickly because he was a hero during World War I, so he rose to the ranks very quickly when he fought in World War I. Got married to Mimi.
French warfare. Small towns.
Got awarded when World War II hit, and he got promoted to a general. Because of World War II, he got promoted to general and had to plan the war. And he was one of our greatest generals. Became a 5-star general. This is his briefcase. And it was about the draft. Talk about World War II. How he had to command the European force, the European theater in World War II against the Axis, the Nazis, and the Italy and Japan.
Japan and also Germany.
And Roosevelt relied on Eisenhower to make every decision possible. Eisenhower was at odds with how to fight the war, especially with General MacArthur. Him and MacArthur always fought. That's a trivia fact. Him and MacArthur always fought. They always had how to plan the war. And Eisenhower had the better ideas on how to fight the war and how to properly orchestrate the war. Even though MacArthur was really good, MacArthur was a little bit more bullish than Eisenhower, and Eisenhower worked with everybody. He worked with the British. He worked with the British and whoever was left as things were falling apart. As France fell to the Nazis, he worked with the British really. He worked with Churchill really well. Here are some machine guns and guns. The reason I'm talking quickly and going quickly because the museum does close on us. These are machine guns and different rifles and machine guns throughout World War II. That they preserved all the World War II guns. Some machine guns and police guns and different rifles and bayonets. World War II uniforms. Eisenhower was in control of all of this when World War II hit. This was the first, World War II was the first war where everybody got involved. Everybody, man, woman, and child got involved. Buy war bonds, do what you could save. If my grandma were alive, she could tell you more about the war. How World War II affected everybody, man, woman, and child. This was the first total war to win this war. Roosevelt wanted to end it early, and we had to get it done. I'm going very quickly here. He was always at odds with MacArthur, and of course General Patton. He was always at odds with too. General Patton, who was under him, he always had dealing with General Patton, who went through Italy, and he was kind of angry with General Patton. And they met with the British Allied Command, and the British to help them out. But he was always at odds with Patton. And then Patton was under him because Patton went through Italy, and he was kind of angry at how bullish Patton was going through, but he might as well let him do what he had to do. And then they had to command the D-Day invasion, June 6, 1944, saving Private Ryan, the paratroopers into France, into Normandy, France. There's a bullet head of the Nazis barricaded Normandy, France, in June 6, 1944. Total warfare.
6,000 troops. 6,939.
Planning the D-Day invasion of Normandy, France, to free France. Paratroopers. Eisenhower is a 5-star. He had his own limousine that he was able to bring. The war with Germany ended quicker, but they still had the war with Japan to deal with. So this is Eisenhower's private Cadillac limo.
In late 1943, with most of Europe occupied by Nazi forces, Eisenhower was appointed Supreme Commander, Allied Expeditionary Force. His orders for the combined chiefs of staff.
Cigarette case. Because he was a hero for World War II, everybody liked him. I like Ike. He decided to run for president after Harry Truman, 1952 campaign. There's him and his wife, Amy. He had the first television commercial for campaigning, very peaceful commercial. I like Ike commercial. Well, I like Ike commercial. It's very sad that the campaigning today is not like it was in 1952 when he was running for president. Here's some China.
His wife's,
China and stuff that his wife Mimi had.
In 1979, Mamie gave an interview to Barbara Walters.
Mrs. Eisenhower, how would you want people to remember your husband?
I think his honesty, his integrity.
His wife Mimi's dress, shoes and hats during the 50s. Jewelry she wore, a diamond and amethyst pin. During the White House. Up ahead is presidential china that was served during the White House years for Eisenhower when he was eating in the White House. This is the china he ate on. Yeah, the eagle seal. White House china plate, eagle seal, gold-plated stuff. Got re-elected again up to 1960, up until Kennedy got elected. He built the Eisenhower Expressway, 1956. The atomic bomb he initiated because Russia had detonated their own atomic bomb. He had to increase the Cold War because Russia had detonated their own atomic bomb. We had to have nuclear because at the beginnings of the Cold War. He had to have his own command just in case the Russians had decided they wanted to attack back at the beginning of the Cold War. He had to strategize what to do when the Russians and then the Chinese had their own atomic bomb. The Cold War was getting heated with the Chinese having their own. Because of the fear of a domino effect after the Chinese becoming communist, they had the Korean War, so they had a Korean and he had to have it split North and South Korea because there was a domino effect. That was a fear that was going on.
Time is now 4:50. The museum, visitor center, and library.
Communist expansion.
They were afraid of the domino effect because China decided to drop their atomic bombs. They were afraid of the dominoes effect. Of course, Chinese communism is different from Russia, USSR communism, totally different ideas of communism. Eisenhower took a trip cross country, and none of the roads were paved, and he didn't like it. So he built the Eisenhower expressways, the highways.
It came with that yet more hopeful spring of 1945. Right to the promise of victory and defeat. 8 years in the past has seen our best.
But there were a lot of fears of the Cold War growing, the domino effect, so they had a sense. Then all of a sudden, 1957, a surprise by the Russians sending up Sputnik. Sputnik was sent, I think the Sputnik is now in the Smithsonian, and that scared everybody in 1957. It scared everybody. This shocked the world when Sputnik came out. And in October 4th, 1957, when Sputnik scared the whole country, everybody was afraid. So the space race was on, but but not until Kennedy was the one that put the space race really on. Eisenhower was kind of a little bit on asleep, kind of a little bit asleep at the wheel. Not until John F. Kennedy says we gotta increase the space race. Apparently, Eisenhower brought jobs to the country during the 1950s and education. He did break the color barrier in 1958. I did a term paper from the streetcar to the car culture with the interstate highway system, because he did a long distance trip himself, and most of the roads were not paved. A lot, Route 66 was deteriorating. A lot of roads were just falling apart, and the U.S. highway system was just falling apart. All the interstates that came on because of him. Desegregation. Eisenhower allowed polio shots, so I don't know what this deal with the vaccine back in today. The Republican Party is so screwed up today.
All the people I know and all 164 million Americans can say nothing of all the other people in our lives. So possibly.
Cold War stuff. Spy versus spy. They're from DEF CON. How big the atomic bomb gets bigger and bigger.
Here's the size of the nuclear bombs.
Vietnam started with Eisenhower, not Kennedy. Which people don't. Just escalated, you know, because they were afraid of a domino.
Vietnam.
Duck and cover. Fallout shelter. Of course, it wouldn't do any good, these fallout shelters. You'd be disintegrated. Cold War Olympics. Construction of the Berlin Wall. Reagan tells Gorbachev to tear down the wall.
Nuclear artillery shell.
Yeah. Nuclear warhead.
Time is now 4:30. The museum, visitor center, and library are now closed.
So we didn't get to finish the museum because they closed at 4:30 instead of 5 o'clock, unfortunately. So Eisenhower is basically the Democrat of today. I mean, this is not the Republican Party. This is what the Republican Party should be, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the Republican Party changed course, unfortunately. But this is what the Republican Party was, very similar to what Democrats are today. And I don't know if they'll let us in. I don't think they'll let us in the library. And of course, if you look at my previous YouTubes, you'll see my LBJ museum, which I was very impressed with. I was very impressed with the LBJ thing. Anyway, so walking towards the light, I don't think they'll let us in because it's after. Because they closed early for some reason instead of 5 o'clock, which they should do 5 o'clock. There's when he was a general. And then I think in the distance is some memorial to him. His old house. And a choo-choo train in the background. Here in Abilene, Kansas. Abilene Smoky Valley train. Anyway, this is Giant 2B. I'm sure that's probably the church that you went to when you grew up here in Abilene, Kansas. It's Giant 2B signing off. It's named after Abilene.
In 2 miles, turn left on I-70 West.
Named after Abilene, Scotland. That's probably the church you went to. Pretty sure.
Catholic Church. No, it's a Catholic church.
Oh, it's Catholic church. Abilene, Kansas. That was a Sinclair gas station at one time. Middle of nowhere, Kansas. Really is the middle of nowhere, Kansas. They're not on the beach.